Hey ladies, it's Jen again. I decided that I was going to do what all the cool kids are doing and participate in the baby names tag. The only thing is that I do not have 10 favorite boys' names because we've pretty much already decided on what our little boy's name would be if we had a little boy. I think I said this in a previous video, it was in the TTC tag, but my husband and I really, really want a girl. We're going to be happy no matter what we have, but we really want a girl, so we have invested a lot more time in choosing names for a possible baby girl than we have for a baby boy. And I'm sneaking an extra one in the girls' side because I have 11 favorites, and my husband, some of his favorites are in there too, but we have 11 favorites for girl and then 4 favorites for boys. And I am sitting at my desk and I am enjoying a nice sushi lunch because it sounded really good, so I'm having a California roll. But my husband is Japanese and Hawaiian, but the Japanese gene on the male side is extremely dominant, so the likelihood that we will have a baby that looks very Japanese is very high. So I thought that if she did look like she is Japanese, it would be absolutely adorable and precious to give her a name that honors my husband's heritage, because so many of the Japanese names are very, very, very pretty for girls. Of course, there's a fair share of ugly ones, but there's a lot of really pretty ones. So you'll notice on this list that I'm about to read off, there are some that are more common names, but nothing really very common. A couple unique names, and then all the rest are Japanese. So I'm just going to get right into it and start sharing these with you. They're in no particular order, but this first one that I'm about to read is my absolute favorite. So my favorite name for a girl, it actually came from, if you haven't seen it yet, it's an awesome movie, but Memoirs of a Geisha. So that's where I first heard this name, and then my husband said, oh yes, that's a very popular Japanese name, and I really love it. But my favorite name for a girl would be Sayuri. I know a couple of girls asked, how do you pronounce that? So it's Sayuri, Sayuri, and I would love it if her middle name could be Rose, so Sayuri Rose, and we would call her either Yuri or Suri for short. We haven't decided. Going down the list, my next favorite one personally is Nola, Nola, and the middle name would be Celeste, Nola Celeste. I think that is really, really pretty. My husband's absolute favorite name for a girl, he likes a lot of European sounding names, and I am half German, and he has loved this name for a very long time, but he loves the name Freya, Freja, so not Y-A, but J, and the J sounds like a Y, Freya. I'm not too keen on this name. I think it's okay, but I have others on the list that I like a lot more, but it's still something I'm willing to consider, and maybe it'll grow on me. It has grown on me a little bit. So another Japanese name that we really like is Emika. It doesn't sound Japanese. It's kind of like Erica, but it has M instead, and we would call her Emmy for short, Emika, Emika. And another one of my favorite names that my husband doesn't really like a whole lot is Gracie. He just thinks it's a little too traditional and really popular, but ever since I heard that Ben Folds song, Gracie, that he wrote for his daughter, I have loved the name, and I think it's just absolutely adorable. Okay, another couple of Japanese names that we really like are Kiri, Kiri, and also we like the name Marika or Marika, Marika. As far as, I know all of you are probably wondering, well, you're going to be a pastor one day, so where's your biblical names? The only 2 female biblical names that come to my mind that I can really think I actually like are Hannah and Rebecca, but they are both very, and Sarah as well. But all 3 of those names are extremely popular, and they are overused almost to the point of my own name, Jennifer. I don't want to give my child a name that everyone else is going to have. I want them to have a unique name that isn't going to be getting them teased at school, but that they'll appreciate when they're older. Wow, I really like my name. So as far as biblical names, there's not really any that I like. So, but I do like the name Mercy, Mercy, Mercy. And I think that would be a very sweet name for a little girl. For another common name that I really like, and I think my husband likes it as well, we like the name Paige, Paige. But that has grown in popularity as well over the years, and again, we just don't want to be copycats, I guess. A more unique name that I have seen a couple of times, but is definitely not something that I've seen all over the place. We love the name Lilith, and we would call her Lily for short. And the last Japanese name, this is the 11th name that I'm sneaking in there because it's still in my top favorites personally. I love the name Midori. It's another Japanese name that is really popular, but I just think it's a very sweet name for a little girl or for a teenager or for a woman, and I think it would be a name that would be unique and special and very exotic and different. So you may all be wondering what our top boy's name is, and that name that we have chosen for our baby boy, if we do have a boy, we love the name Lyric. The reason for that is I love to sing, and my husband is very into music. He writes music and plays music, and we just thought that something that would honor our love for music would be really interesting, and the name Lyric is just so cute. And I think it sounds good with our last name, and it's not, traditional like John or Bob or Eddie or, I'm not too keen on those types of names. I try to imagine, what would this person be like when they get older? What would it be like to have, to meet a man named Lyric? Or, what kind of personality would they have? And I like names that I guess would match more of an artsy personality, or someone that's a lot more unique and just different, special. I think a name says a lot about a person, and when people tend to have unique names, I like to know more about them and see what kind of person are they like, what kind of things are they into. So we love the name Lyric, and the next name that we really like is Owen, but this is pretty much off the list because everybody and their mother, no pun intended, is naming their child Owen these days. It seems like I know 2 babies in my real life that were named Owen just recently. The next name that I really like is actually very popular on my mom's side of the family down the line. My mom was born in Germany, and we have a lot of family that still lives over there. So a name that is very popular on our side of the family is Gerhardt, which is a very interesting name, and I'm really surprised I like it, but there's just something about it that I just think is so cute. And not just cute, but I think it could translate well into a name for a grown man. But Gerhardt is a really nice name, and we could call him Gary or Jer, or, there are different things we could call him for short. It has a very unique spelling for those that haven't heard it. It's Gerhardt. So, and that is how we would spell it. It's the traditional spelling, and we really like it. And the last and final name, because I have to, of course, have a somewhat biblical name on the boys' side as well, that my husband probably is totally against. I haven't even run this one by him because I just thought of it recently. But I love the name Canaan for a boy. I just think it's really, really cute. And I think it would be an interesting name as he gets older and grows up too. So those are my top 11 favorite girls' names and top 4 boys' names, and I hope you enjoyed watching, and let me know what you think in the comments below. I think this is just a really cool tag, whoever came up with it. Awesome idea, and I really enjoyed hearing your guys' names too. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you guys soon.